Welcome to BBC London, I'm Tolu Adeoye. Well, it's finally here, 3.5 years late, billions of pounds over budget. The Elizabeth line has now opened. The 73-mile route connects Essex in the east to Berkshire in the west, tunnelling underground through central London. More than 130,000 journeys had already been made by 10 this morning. Here's our transport correspondent, Tom Edwards.
Not a rock star, the opening of a railway. A day of mad excitement when transport itself became the main event.
This train will be calling at Tottenham Court Road.
Many Londoners got for the first time to see their brand new railway.
It's been great. Great meeting everybody and seeing everybody here. I'm very historic.
It's very important, isn't it? For the Queen, that's the main thing.
It's going to cut off probably about 40 minutes out of my journey.
When you first saw it, were you impressed?
Oh my God, like completely overwhelmed actually. We pulled into on the station near one of the cross platforms and it just, wow.
It's really nice, really nice. Very excited.
It's absolutely life-changing for us. We moved here 4 years ago for it, so been waiting for it for a long time. But now that it's here, it's going to cut my commute in half at least.
I think it's one of the best stations. It's fantastic, really good.
Paddington was evacuated first thing after passengers stirred up dust and set off a fire alarm, but it didn't last long. Over a decade ago, this is how the project started, deep in tunnels under the capital. We have followed the project. It was hit with delay after delay and went £4 billion over budget.
At the moment, we're just south of Paddington on our way to Hyde Park and then Bond Street. And this is what it looks like now. It's quite the transformation. Nearly 4 years and £4 billion over budget. What this new line will do is redraw London.
Good to see you, man.
The mayor was on the line early. He says the line is part of the capital's recovery.
One of the things we've got to do is entice people from working from home to working back in their office, entice tourists back, enticing people back to the centre of our cities. What better way to do so than an air-conditioned, spacious walk-through train, cathedral-like stations. You can keep your distance.
But a dose of reality from government. Funding for Transport for London runs out in June.
Transport has changed in London, the commuters have changed in London, and so we're working very hard with the Mayor and with TfL to understand exactly what their requirement is, but also recognising that there will be reforms that need to be taken.
This project isn't finished yet. There are still challenges to come. But today, the opening of a new line that will radically change the capital. Tom Edwards, BBC London.
Well, the first service set off from Abbey Wood this morning at around 6:30. There were queues early on, but was it worth the wait? Lakshmi Gopal was there to find out.
Counting down to catching the first ever Elizabeth line train. Hundreds queued for hours for the 6:30 service from Abbey Wood. It's been years of waiting for Crossrail. What's a little longer? Many dressed for the occasion in royal colours.
Well, I got a little bit of purple in my hair. All my friends were all wearing our purple T-shirts. Obviously, I've got my socks on at the ready.
I'm from South Carolina. And
you didn't travel all the way from South Carolina for this, did you?
I did.
Doors closing.
It's been 30 years in the making, so I had to come down from Manchester, especially just to be on the first train.
I've been waiting for this service since I was 4 years old. It was 2007 when the Crossrail Act was enacted, and I was 4 at the time.
Purple collar, yeah, especially for the Elizabeth line opening, yeah. My dog's always been a bit of a fan of the trains as well, and thought it'd just be a bit of a historic moment to bring her on board and with me and to be the first dog on the Elizabeth line.
28 minutes later, the momentous journey terminates at Paddington.
You travelled thousands of miles to get here to make a 22-mile journey thereabouts. Was it worth it?
Definitely it was worth it. This has been an amazing day. It's one of the craziest days of my life, probably.
Today was about more than just a new and better commute. It was about marking an historic moment in the city's transport timeline.
Well, that sing-song you saw there happened here at Paddington earlier. It was Purple Train, a spin on the Prince song. And that just shows you the level of jubilation among some passengers. Some of them even got excited the first time they heard the See It, Say It, Sort It announcement on the new train. 600 of them queued at Abbey Wood, as you saw at the beginning of that report. And new TfL numbers show that by 10 a.m, 65,000 journeys had been made on the Paddington Abbey Wood section alone, with twice that number taking place on the whole of the Elizabeth line this morning.
This is my crossrail / Elizabeth line themed waistcoat. I've bought some cushions from the Transport Museum and refashioned them into the main outer. I've had a special tube mat printed on the inside for the lining, and it's taken quite a long time to build. Unfortunately, midway through, my old sewing machine died and I had to buy a new one, which meant it's slightly over budget, but would it really be a crossrail themed waistcoat if it wasn't over budget and a little bit last minute? I've also then put some badges as the various stages of the Elizabeth line. Got a National Rail and London Underground, the 1990s version of Crossrail, TfL Rail, and very finally right at the bottom I've got the Elizabeth line, finally open today.